Good morning, everyone. My name is Tracy Frith. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and I am going live this morning to show my second Gatefold card in a series of 4. Just bring up my other screen here. All right, so today I'm going to be using the Sailing Home stamp set. Now this is a retiring set, so only available for a short while longer, or as supplies last. And it did come with dies, so I'm going to be using a couple of those as well. So it's got lots of just kind of sailing things, a lighthouse, an anchor, some sailboats. So I'm going to be using the dies for the 2 sailboats that coordinate. And I'm also going to be using some of our stitched rectangle dies. I got those out as well. Those aside for a minute. And the card that we're going to be making today is called an Interlocking Gatefold. Oh, hello, Carol. Thanks for watching this morning. So an Interlocking Gatefold card. So this is my card. And I thought I would try and I was going to do flowers, and then I thought, no, you know what, I'm going to try and do something that could be a little bit more of a masculine card. So this is what I came up with. And so when you open it up, and I didn't do the inside of this card yet, so it's blank inside, but when you open it up, it opens like that. So this piece on the front just slips into the little frame to close the card. Okay, so that's your interlocking gatefold. All right, so I'm going to put that aside, and I'll bring out my supplies here. So for supplies, start with the main piece. I have a piece of Sahara Sand, and it's cut the long direction on your cardstock. So it is 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, and then it's scored at 2 3/4. So 2 3/4, I don't know if you can see this, 2 3/4 is the first full score, and 8 1/4 is the next one, or 2 3/4 from either end. So you can look at it either way there. Okay, so there's that one. Grab my list here. And then I have another piece of Sahara Sand that started out as about a 2 1/2 by 4 little small piece of scrap. And I cut that out with the smaller of my 2 rectangle framelets. Okay, and in the write-up, I'll describe which one this is. I think it's the 3rd or 4th largest one, but of the 2 that I picked, it's the smaller one. Okay, so that's my Sahara Sand rectangle. And then I have another piece, no more Sahara Sand. I have white, basic white. I have 4 by 5 1/4, so that's going to be my inside piece. And then I have another piece that's about 4 by 4 1/2. It could be a little bigger if you wanted to, not much smaller though. Okay, and I have a couple of little scraps of white. Okay, and then I have Misty Moonlight. I've got 2 pieces that are 2 1/2 by 4. Okay, so there's 2 of those. And then I have another piece that is about 3 by 4 1/2. And that's what I'm going to use to cut out my frame. And I actually already cut my frame up, but I'll show you how I did that. So I'll just use the back of this card here. Okay, so if I was going to cut my frame, so this is what I ended up with. I'm going to use my larger of my 2 frames, and then the smaller one just goes inside. It's a little bit finicky, which is why I did it ahead of time, because I didn't want to be fighting around with it. But you just line them up like that, and then you run it upside down, of course, so it cuts the cardstock. And then you run it through your embossing cut and emboss machine. Okay. So that's what you did for the frame. So I'll put that aside for later. And this frame is a little bit flimsy, so you could cut more than one of these layers. 2 or 3 and glue them together to make a little bit of a sturdier frame. I chose not to push my luck this morning trying to get them all lined up, so I just have the 1 layer. And it works, you just have to be a little bit more careful with it. All right, so for the stamping, I'll start with that now. I'm going to take my smaller white piece, so the 4 by 4.5, and I'm going to use, where did I put the stamp set? I'm going to use the little compass circle with Sahara Sand ink and just stamp a background here. And my Sahara Sand is getting a little bit dried out, and I discovered today I do not have a refill for that, so I'm going to have to look into getting one of those or updating my pad to one of the newer versions of the pad. And I kind of just went diagonally across the paper for my first row, and then I filled them in from there. And it's okay that it's not super juicy because it is a background. But if I was doing more of a prominent image, I would want to ink it up a little bit. And then I just kind of went in between to create a bit of a background pattern here. So when I first thought about doing flowers, my thought was to do the leaves of the flowers for this part, and then use the actual flower images on my kind of focus piece. But with this set, you could use, there's a few different stamps you could use for your background. You could have used, like I said, I chose to use the compass. Could have also done the anchor. You could have done one of the smaller sailboats. Couple different things there. Okay, and then I'm going to, for this piece, I'm now going to cut this. So I want it to be a little bit smaller than my 2 blue pieces. So it is going to be cut, and I didn't write this one down. So these were 2.5 by 4. So these are going to be, excuse me, 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to start. I'll start with the 3 3/4 part. I'll just trim off the bottom. And then I wanted 2 1/4. There's not too much to cut off this second piece. Okay. Okay, so I have those 2 pieces, and I am going to try and remember when I mat them to sort of line them up. So they'll go like that. Okay. I'm just going to put those aside for a minute, and I'll do some more stamping here. So now I'm going to stamp my sailboats, and for that I'm using the Misty Moonlight. Okay, so I'm going to do 1. My scrap I think is big enough that I can do both sailboats on the same one. Fingers crossed that that'll work. And small one. I'll just give it a little bit more room there. There we go. Oh, that didn't work very well. Okay, do I trust myself to do on the back side of that? I'm going to cut this big one out first, and then I'll come back and do the small one again. It just didn't stamp very well on the bottom. So again, I'm going to line up my die over top of my piece, and then I'll cut it out, and then I'll do the same for the other one. There we go. By cutting that out first, now I can turn my cardstock over and do it on the smaller one on the other side without worrying about if it's going to work or not. I'll make sure I get a little extra ink in that spot. How did I have this? I think I was like this. There we go. That one worked a little bit better. And then I don't need this again for a little bit. All right, so I think once I've got that one cut out, I've done all my die cutting that I need to do. So I'll get that done, and then I'll come back and we can put the card together. There's a tiny bit more stamping to do, but not too much. All right, so now I have my two pieces there. All right, so I'm going to bring in my little rectangle, the Sahara Sand rectangle now. And there's two more stamps that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use, for this one, the Set Sail in the Direction of Your Dreams. And the little birds, okay? So first I'm just going to kind of line up my images where I want them. So the small one, I'm going to put it over to the left side and up to the top of my frame. Just because my frame is a little bit tight, I don't want it hanging over the top at all or over the bottom, over any of the edges. So it can go right up to the edge, just not hanging over. And then my larger one, I'm going to put, it takes up the whole height of the frame, so I'm going to put it down a little bit lower. And I'm not going to glue those down yet. I'm going to do my stamping first. So my greeting, oh, good morning, Mom. My greeting, I'm going to ink up in Memento black, or Tuxedo black Memento ink, I guess, is what it's really called. And I'm going to add that, not right up at the top, just down a little bit. See if I can get it straight. Not too bad, a little bit crooked, but not too bad. Okay, and then I can put that away. And then I'm going to bring my Misty Moonlight ink back. And for the birds, I'm actually going to stamp off. I don't want full strength Misty Moonlight here, so I'm going to stamp onto my scrap piece. And then I did one set of birds kind of on this side, and it's okay if it goes over the edge of the frame. And then I did it again, and I just tried to get one little bird in the top left-hand corner here. Okay. Well, there's my birds. And then I can move that out of the way. And then that's all my, nope, not all my stamping, because I haven't done the inside yet. So I think for the inside, I'm going to use the small sailboat and the birds. So I'm going to go down in the corner. for this one. So small sailboat. And my birds, and I'll do the same thing. I'll stamp off. Where do I want to add birds? Right over top of the boat. There we go. Okay, all right, so now we can assemble. Frame what's out of the way. Okay, so I've already scored this piece. I just need to fold it. So I am going to, I think I mentioned this last week. When you score it, you've got kind of one side that's a valley and one side that's a mountain. So I always put the mountain on the inside of the fold. Let's give it a bit of a burnish with the bone folder and do the same on the other side. And hopefully if you did all your scoring straight, they will line up in the middle. Okay, so I've got that. I can put my inside of the card in. And again, I'm using my Tombow. I opened a new Tombow the other day. And for some reason, this one doesn't want to come out really smoothly like it usually does. So I don't know if it's just because it's new and I need to get it going or what. But it does work. It just, I have to be a little bit more careful when I'm gluing to make sure I've got glue in all the spots I want it. I'm going to put that in the middle on the inside. There we go. And then I'm going to do my front pieces. So my stamped white pieces, I'm just going to mount onto the Misty Moonlight. And the Misty Moonlight is a color that's also retiring. So after, I would actually possibly be surprised if you could still get any of the stuff in the Misty Moonlight. But there are other kind of navies. We have Night of Navy that you could substitute. There's actually a new one coming out with the new catalog. In May, I believe. That's really nice. It's called Starry Sky. Okay, so there's one. So yeah, with the new annual catalog, every year they retire one set of in colors and bring out a new set. So our retiring ones, I don't know if I can remember all the names. There was the Misty Moonlight, Just Jade, Cinnamon Cider, Magenta Madness, and Bumblebee, I think are the ones. So those ones will all be retiring once this new catalog comes out. And 5 new colors are coming in. And then the ones that they brought out last year, so the Soft Succulent Evening Evergreen, those ones are still around for another year. So we always have 2 sets, but they stagger them. They're around for 2 years. So the new ones, there's the Starry Sky, there's Orchid Oasis, which is a kind of a bluey purple, Tahitian Tide, I believe. I could be wrong on that one. It's Tahitian something. It is like a turquoise. And then there's, oh goodness, there's like a pinky color and a green. The green is Parakeet Pride, I think. And I can't remember what the pink one is called. I'll have to go back and take a look. Okay, so those I'm going to mount onto there like that. There, I got a lot of glue out that time. Yeah, it's almost like there's air bubbles or something in this one. I'll get a glob of glue and then nothing. Now, which way do I want to have this? Make sure I have it that way. Okay, so this piece is going to go on my left-hand flap. And then the other one will go on the right-hand side. And then we're almost done. So it looks like it might be a bit of a complicated card. It's really not that bad. It didn't take me very long to put it together the first time, kind of start to finish planning and everything. Only took me about an hour. And then this one, once I got all the pieces cut out, or once I knew what I was doing, didn't take me very long at all. Okay, so there's that one. All right, and then my sailboats, I'm going to put the small one I'm going to glue right onto the piece, the Sahara Sand piece, and then the big one I'm going to put on dimensional so it pops up a little bit. All right, so this one we said is going to go right to the top. My goal was for it to kind of look like it was obviously in the background, a little bit farther away. And then this one, I'm going to pop up using dimensionals. I've got my the larger dimensionals out today. I use the small ones all the time, and I have some large ones that have been sitting for a while, so I thought I might as well try and use those up. I just don't use them as often. And then when I do use them, I tend to cut them up anyway, so that's where I started going more to the small ones. So all right, so I put a few on the back. And we can pop that little sailboat up. So I haven't looked outside yet this morning. I don't know what the weather is. Hopefully it's a nice day today. I did get out and go for a bit of a walk on, I think it was Monday. But probably not going to happen today. Oh, hello, Leanne. All right. And then this one's going to go beside it. And again, I'm just kind of holding top and bottom on here because I know that it is going to cover most of the height of this rectangle. A little bit more this way. And I don't want it to hang over the edge. Okay, so that's that one. All right, now when I'm attaching these to the card, so I need that piece and I need my frame. I'm just going to put, oh, Leanne says it's really windy. Mom said it's sunny and windy. All right, so I have to be prepared for wind. I'm just going to put glue on this piece on the back of the right-hand side, so behind my greeting here. So this side, just on the 1/2. And then when I glue it down, I'm only going to glue it to that right-hand flap. I don't know what is going on with this glue. I don't usually ever have this trouble. That's okay. It'll get used up quickly. And on to the new one. Okay, so I'm going to put this, I'm going to center this on the card. So I have the card closed. And hopefully we'll get this in the center. And straight-ish. Okay, so I've got that on. And then for my frame, I'm going to do the same idea. So I'm going to put the adhesive on the left-hand side. And I don't want to go too crazy with the adhesive on this one, just because of the way I'm doing this. There might be an easier way to do it, but I found this was easy to line up. And I didn't quite go all the way to half, just I don't want to get any glue on the wrong side of the card here. Okay, so a little bit of adhesive. You can always go back in and add a little bit more after if I feel like I need to. And then what I did, making sure the adhesive was on the left-hand side when I turned it over, I started by lining up the frame on the right-hand side and just holding the left hand off the cardstock. So once I got that lined up, then I could pop this down and make sure it adheres. Okay. So there's my card, finished card. So like I said with the other one, it opens up like that. And then close. You have to be a little bit more careful closing it. And again, if you wanted to, you could double up layers on your Misty Moonlight frame to make it a little bit sturdier. But that is the card. So pretty quick and easy. So that's the second of the Gatefold cards. And darn it, I forgot again to do my draw. Okay, so I will post the winner of the draw in the comments. And thank you, Leanne. Yeah, I really liked it. I love this set. I'm really sad that it's retiring, this stamp set. They do have another one in the catalog with some sailboats. It's actually, I can't remember what it's called, but it's got the pieces of the sailboat and you piece it together. But I really like this one. So it's one that I'll keep for a little while for sure. Even though it's retiring. It's a great card for masculine cards, and it would also work for anyone. Really, it's not like super masculine. So, yeah, it's versatile that way. I really like it. All right, so that is it for today. I will get together the notes on the supplies and instructions for putting the card together. And post those. I don't have them ready yet. I've been a little bit busy this week with other stuff, so I haven't gotten that done. But I will do that and post it in the description of the video. If you are looking for any of the supplies, you can go to my website, thetracyfriths.stampinup.net, and there's a shopping link on that. You can use the host code here for anything that you want. And the other thing that I wanted to mention again, and I will have the information posted hopefully by the weekend, if not sooner, I'm doing a class in May, so May 7th in the evening. I can't remember, 6:30 or 7 I think was my time. And that will be a one-sheet wonder class. So we're going to make 4 cards using 1 piece of designer paper. And also with that, you'll get the template on how to cut your designer paper and all the supplies that you need to make your cards, all of the consumable supplies, except for the adhesive. And you'll get a partial package of the designer series paper. So if you want to make more cards, you'll have some paper to do that with. The cost for that is going to be, it's either going to be a $35 class fee, or if you place a minimum $60 order, you'll be able to get the class for free. All right, so I will have that information posted, like I said, by the end of the weekend for sure, if not sooner. All right, if you're interested in doing that class, before I get the info, please feel free to send me a message or write in the comments, and I will get the information to you. All right. Hopefully everyone has a great day, and thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate that you take the time out of your day to join me, and have a great rest of your week.